Man, it's freezing here in Roseburg, Oregon, Cara HQ. I'm actually heading home right now, end of the day. We started the day, weather in the 20s, ending in the 30s, but it doesn't really get cold here that often like this, so I'm kind of pumped to have this refreshing weather, and kind of makes you feel alive when you're outside and it's freezing cold. But Trevor Truck Talk coming at you, heading home, and I have a couple of things I want to run at you. So by the time that I'm recording this, it's nearing the end of this year, and we're going to be doing a recap for this year, 2018, here shortly. But if you're listening to this in any other year, this podcast episode is going to be completely just as relevant to you today, the time that I'm recording this, as it is going to be 5 years, and 5 years from now. And so here's the topic I want to dive into. When we're looking at our planning for this next year, no matter when you're listening to this, like I said, you could be listening to this in July, but when you're looking at your planning for the year, one thing that I've been really guilty of, and I'm going to toss out, that's actually been creating, how am I going to say this? There's certain ways an entrepreneur set goals that completely sets you up for failure, that completely makes your team members learn how to lose and not how to win. And also there's a way to set up goals that is just it's just really wrecking your progress, your happiness, and your contentment in life right now. Okay, now as I drop this hammer on you and basically talking about how the normal goal setting process just is completely deficient and not effective, and that's the way that I had been doing it for years. I'm actually doing a call on this topic, okay? I don't think that we have the landing page up for it yet, but here in a week or two we will. But if you go to carrot.com/epic, that's carrot.com/epic. Every single year I do a call. It's a free call for anyone. Nothing. We're not selling a darn thing on it. Just want to share and really serve you, our Carrot community, where I walk through my exact annual planning process. And this year it's changed more than it ever has ever. Because as my team's got bigger, I've learned so many things about myself as a leader, so many things about myself and how to scale a company and have more time and more freedom and make a bigger impact. And also grow the finances and grow an amazing team. I've learned so many things this year, way more than any ever. And so I've integrated in some new processes I've learned from my coaches that have changed the game on how we surround our team around targets, around goals, and how to really make it work. So I want to walk through a couple key concepts as you're leading into this next year to help you with your planning. Okay, so one mistake that oftentimes we make as entrepreneurs is whenever we set goals, for the entrepreneur, the big goals are kind of motivating, right? It's like you want to toss out that big goal, like Grant Cardone says, the 10x goal, right? You want to toss this big goal out there because for us it's a motivating thing. Now, I don't think that oftentimes we place full stock on, hey, if I don't hit that goal, I failed in my year, right? Here's an example. This year we had set a goal to do $6 million in revenue this year, and that's a huge goal, and that's amazing, and it would be amazing to hit that. But I can tell you, for me, I don't get down in the dumps if I didn't hit that goal. Okay, it was already a stretch anyway. We're going to come frighteningly close to it, and there were some things we definitely could have done to give it a better chance to hit it. But at the end of the day, I don't gauge my worth on whether I hit that particular goal or not, or a customer account goal, or whatever it is. Same thing that I talked to some investors or some real estate investors who they set these big goals and then they don't quite hit some of them, maybe because they're big, hairy, audacious goals, but they came really close and they're celebrating the crap out of it because they had an amazing year. But what I didn't realize when I was doing that, when I was setting these big goals and surrounding the team around them, is not everyone thinks of goals the same way. Oftentimes our team members look at those goals, and if we don't hit those goals over and over and over again, we're training our team to lose. We're training our team how to lose over and over again. And also they start to not believe some of the goals that we're setting because we think, because we show up to a mastermind or you hear, 10x growth con, how you need to 10x everything. We think that we've got to then set these monstrous financial goals for that next year in order to show up at the next mastermind and not have people judge us that we're not ambitious enough, right? So what happens is when we set those big goals, we toss them at our team members, they aren't as motivated at the big goals as we are. But here's the opposite of it. They're actually in many times gauging their worth. They're actually in many times wondering if they're going to have a job if they don't hit these goals. Okay, so I want to give you some advice that a mentor of mine and friend Alex Sharfin had told me, but also I went through a training program with him this weekend, And I see him in Boise, Idaho, usually a couple times a year. He lives down in Austin, Texas, but he coaches a lot of people in Russell Brunson's network, and I'm in a mastermind with Alex. And he says a concept called bring your targets closer, okay? And one thing that I had an epiphany when I was listening to this myself, and first of all, I'm like, I can't do that. Like, that just seems like you're not aiming big enough. Yeah, it's the whole 10x thinking kind of creeping back in there. And it makes complete sense after I dove into it even further. Okay, so listen to this right here. Sharfin was sharing a story when he was doing some weapons training with a Navy SEAL. And he was diving in to really learn how to handle this weapon better. And the first full day, it was kind of classroom training, right? Learning how to clean the gun, how to take it apart, how to put it back together, all that kind of stuff. And then the next day, they went out on the range. And he did what a lot of people would think, ambitious people, competitive people would think. Because they'd say, okay, I'm probably going to shoot 20, 30, 40 feet out, something like that. He said the first full day, pretty much all that they did was they didn't shoot further than 5 feet away from his body. Okay, they didn't shoot further than 5 feet out. And many people might look at that and go, and he thought the same thing. He's like, man, when am I going to shoot farther out than this? Like, this isn't anything. What the SEAL said was really important. He said, we teach you to shoot 5 feet out so you have a pattern of winning. So you have a pattern of winning, you know exactly what it looks like to have a tight pattern over and over and over again, and you know that that's our expectation. Our expectation is to have a tight pattern, to deliver on that pattern over and over again. He goes, once you hit that tight pattern, you win, then we'll move it back out a little bit. So he said it took him a while, and he said it still wasn't 2-3 days later until he was finally 50 feet out. He was finally 50 feet out, but this is the difference. He said, this is the difference. At 50 feet, because it was incremental, they put some targets that were closer to him, that were easier to win, easier to succeed in, to gain the confidence in. Once they were 50 feet out, he had a tight pattern. He was nailing it over and over and over again, and it came second nature because he built up to that over those 2 days. But if he would have started at the 50 feet, the pattern would have been all over the place. It would have been harder for that weapons trainer to coach Alex to actually shoot it well, because the target was so far out there. He had to make so many adjustments. He didn't learn how to hit a target in front of him, and now he's trying to do a target way out there. Let's reel this back to the way that we're setting up goals right now for this next year. Let's now talk about the fact and how we're putting these goals out to our team members. And I'm saying this from the perspective of I am massively guilty in this. Okay, massively guilty in this. Can you imagine with the average team member, the person who's not the entrepreneur, the person who maybe isn't the salesperson, but they're the average person on the team who's there to fulfill and there to work and process and there to really just they're the cogs in the wheel that make this thing work. What happens when we toss these big, huge goals out, these big, hairy, audacious goals out to them? That 50 feet, what happens when we start them at 50 feet and we don't hit that? And to us, it might not be a big deal that we didn't hit that goal, but to them, they're like, man, are these goals real? Does Trevor actually want to hit these goals, or are they just kind of like these fake goals that when we talk with other people on our team, we're like, well, that's the number he put out there, but that's not the real number. We're probably going to come in lower than that. Who wants to train your team how to lose? Who wants to train yourself how to lose? No one does. So here's what we're doing this year. And I'm going to be talking about this on that Epic planning call on carrot.com/epic. Actually, it's carrot.com now, y'all. Carrot.com/epic. If the landing page isn't up yet, because it will not be up as of the time that this goes live, we'll have it up probably in about a week after this goes live. If you go there and the page isn't up yet, just return in a week and sign up again. I'm going to walk you through step by step how to set your annual targets correctly so your team is motivated and your team is actually believing that they can achieve them. And the targets are closer so they can nail that target by June, by July in the year, and have a massive win and celebrate the win. Then you can renegotiate those goals moving forward and really crush the year. This isn't about aiming lower, y'all. This isn't about aiming lower. This isn't about, well, I don't want to grow too fast and I don't want to 10x. It's not about that. It's about how do you actually achieve it and make it to where your team is crazy, crazy, crazy motivated to make it happen because they're winning along the way. Not because they're losing every single time, and then they start to lack belief in you and your ability to set goals and targets. Okay, so we're going to walk through how to set an annual target. We're going to walk through how to set your quarterly, your quarterlies, your monthlies, and how to change your communication cadence with your team. If you're just a solo operator, awesome. these things are going to apply to you as well. And also, I'm going to walk you through my process and how I really map my ideal life and how much of it's came true, and how you guys can do the same thing. Okay, so I want to really lead you into 2019 with momentum, with clarity, with a process that you can execute and implement each and every quarter, each and every month, each and every year, to have a better year. And the biggest thing I want you to do is build an amazing business that gives you freedom, that gives you flexibility, okay, that grows those finances this next year, and finally helps you make that big impact you want to make. I want you to get more freedom, more flexibility, grow those darn finances, and make the impact you want to make. And you can't do it without the right planning structure, and the right structure will hold yourself accountable and really map your team and yourself to executing the things that are going to help you succeed. Okay, so bring those targets closer, y'all. As you're looking at your 2019, where are you aiming massively big where it could be freaking your team the crap out? It could be freaking them out when they're not even saying it. But if you over and over again aren't hitting your goals, you're probably setting your targets too far out. You're probably setting your targets too far out. And what happens at the end of the year, I just want to really hammer this home. If you keep setting your targets too far out, like I have been doing, and your team every single year sees these big ambitious targets, and every year they believe they're probably not going to hit them, how confident do you think that they are in their own job? How confident do you think they are in their own ability to execute for you? Probably not very confident, because they're not winning. They're not winning. So let's relate this to sports. Okay, so let's say that you're a team, average team, and you walk in as the coach that very first practice, and you're like, hey guys, brand new season this year, crazy pumped about it. All right, we were in 32nd place out of 40 teams last year, but you know what? We're going to win the Super Bowl this year. We're going to win the Super Bowl this year. Okay, everyone's going to be like, oh my gosh, that'd be amazing if we won the Super Bowl. But they're going to be like, is that really going to happen? How are we going to do that? Like, do you have the plan for that, coach, or kind of what's going to happen? Because I'm not sure how we're going to go from, 28th or whatever to winning the Super Bowl in 1 year. Like, what's your thought there? Okay, I think you're going to get a lot of people who are pumped about it. You're going to get a lot of people who are excited about the possibility for it. But it's probably not going to actually map to them being motivated and clear in their role for the next year. Instead, what if you were to do this? You walk into the same team, that same first game, the first practice of the season, you say, hey, you know what? Last year, we learned a lot last year. Okay, we learned a lot. There's a lot of things that we did amazingly well. And here's some of those things I want to celebrate. And also, there's a lot of things we need to improve. Okay, I don't think anyone here is okay with being mediocre. I don't think anyone here is okay with not putting out their best work. And we're out here to change the game. We're out to completely change the way that people play this game and to inspire people. We're not just out there playing basketball. We're out here to inspire people and just really help people have an amazing time and show them what people can do when they really put their hearts to improving and changing the game. So here's what we're going to do. I really feel that we can win a Super Bowl this year, y'all. I really believe that we can. Is it going to be easy? No way. Would it be coming out of left field and completely insanely hard for us to do, and the odds are against us? 100%. Odds are way against us. Have other people won a Super Bowl that have been in worse situations than us? 100% yes. Okay, we can do it. Now, is it going to happen? It will definitely not happen at all unless we do these things here. But let's do this first. Okay, I'm going to set a goal, and we're going to start off and see if we can't win 10 games within the first 30 games first. And when we do, we're going to be really mapping to having a major success. When that happens, then we're really going to be showing all of the progress and all of the blah, 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 whatever it is that we've been working our butts off for. Once we win 10, then what we're going to do is we're going to look next. We're going to go, okay, let's knock down our next 10. How are we going to win the next 10 out of 20 games next, or whatever it is, right? Okay? And you guys can tell I'm not really talking about football, or I'm just randomly saying stuff here. But if you start it that way, people then start to get motivated. That target's closer. The target's closer. It's 10 games. Let's win 10 games. If we can win 10 games, let's celebrate the crap out of that, and let's look on and negotiate on what the next goal is. So where are you looking in 2019? Come up with your Super Bowl. What's that ideal, amazing thing that you'd love to go out there? Inspire the team around it, but don't put the pressure on them that it has to happen that year. Then dial things back, set your target closer, celebrate them, hit those targets halfway through the year, like Alex Sharfin says, Once that happens, celebrate the heck out of it. Your team members have momentum. They feel that there's trust there. They feel that they're making things happen. They're going to actually be taking a lot more time and energy away from you now, because you're going to now be able to go. They're going to be adding energy for you, but taking time away. So you're going to be able to invest that time elsewhere. And then you guys can renegotiate what to do next. Go, man, we hit that 6 months in, y'all. That was amazing. What's next? Do we think we can do X to finish out the year? Let's shoot for that and really rally people around that. All right, so go to oncarrot.com or, I did it again. Go to carrot.com. It's going to take a while to get used to this, okay? But go to carrot.com/epic and sign up for the Epic Planning Call. Also, while you are exploring other ways that Carrot can help you soon, we're doing an amazing online summit the first part of January. We're inviting some of our most successful clients and members, some amazing thought leaders in the industry, where I'm basically interviewing them and saying, hey, what is going to change in 2019? What are you needing to adjust? What's working the best? What do you find is going to be crushing it? And we're going to be breaking things down, about 14 different members of ours, breaking down what they're planning for in 2019 to stay ahead of the market changes in the curve. Okay, we'll be announcing where you can go check that out here shortly. But for now, go to oncarrot.com/epic. Sign up for the Epic Planning Call. If you don't see the link for it yet, wait a week and it'll be up then. And at the end of the day, y'all, I just want you to win. I want your team members to win. I want you to be bringing those targets closer. I want you to be celebrating those wins. And don't get caught up in all of the 10x fever. I love the thought of 10x. We actually, in our process, have a process where we do some 10x thinking, but then we dial it back and go, okay, how can we win? How can we change the game and help our team members win along the way?